When you see someone that has an accent, usually you change your behavior towards that person. And so I had one professor also that during a class just stopped me once and said, your pronunciation is not that good. And so I don't understand what you're saying. So for me, it was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, this is the way how I speak. I don't know how to change that. And so, of course, from that moment, I just decided not to speak that much in class. So my name is Adriana. Right now I'm doing my PhD in political science. I'm doing my 5th year there. So I was born and raised in Caracas, Venezuela, and I went there for school, for high school. I did my bachelor's on international studies, and then I earned a master's in political science, and everything was done back in Caracas, Venezuela. But then at some point I decided to come to the United States or maybe Europe, just because I thought that for my professional career, but also for my personal experience, would be good to have a diploma elsewhere and also the experience of living in another country. And so that's when in 2011 or 12, I decided to apply to scholarship, and I won a scholarship to come to the United States. So firstly, I went to California for 5 months, in where I took some classes, English courses there, and then I started here at MU in August 2013. Learning English has been interesting for me because I started to learn English back when I was in high school. But those courses were really bad. And so when I finished high school, I was not accepted in any university. And so I was kind of sad. I didn't know what to do. And so my parents said, you know what, why don't you take this year and learn some languages or do something and figure out what you want to do? So I said, well, I want to learn English. I want to learn French. And so I enrolled in some lessons. And while I was doing that, I applied to universities and I was accepted in international studies. And so parallel to college, I decided to keep learning English and French, but I needed to pay for private lessons. So usually I think that that happens in Latin America as a whole, but in Venezuela, if you want to really have good English and you want to improve your English, you need to pay for that. So you need to go to private institutions, and that's what I did. Well, I think that the experience has been diverse according to the year. My first year probably was the tough one because you're trying to adapt, you're trying to know people, you're trying to, be part of something, and also that process in where you need to stop thinking in your own language and start thinking in English is very tough, and it takes a lot of time. I don't think that especially professors know that. They think that, well, if you were accepted here and you are in this PhD program, master program, or any program, you're going to be able to just start writing no matter what, like an American. And it's not like that. Other students, international students that are doing a PhD or a master degree, are struggling with writing because that's a huge part of the PhD and masters. You need to publish. But you cannot pay for an editor. You cannot pay for someone to proofread your writing. And so if you cannot do that, at the end, you are not going to be able to publish. And that's going to diminish your opportunity to find a job at the end. Well, the first thing is that I think that departments are not that connected with what's going on with other things on campus. So I know that there is a grading program center here at MU, and I think that I was one of the first person in my department to say, to other international students saying, there is a grading program center that you should reach out if you have problems with your grading. They are doing what they can, but they are providing good resources. But I don't think that professors know about the grading program center. And so it is very difficult as a professor to provide some help to any international students if they are not aware about what's going on campus, or the centers that are on campus, or resources out there. The most important thing, especially when it comes to international students, is that a caring professor also will be aware that even when we are called as international students, we are not an homogeneous group. We have different needs. Whether we come from Latin America, Asia, Africa, or Europe, we have different needs. Our learning curve is different from one each other. And so each of us is unique. And so treating us as an homogeneous group is just wrong. And a caring professor will know that. Sometimes I hear from other students saying, well, I don't think that they acknowledge that we're here. I don't think that they even care. I think that they only care that we're paying them the fees and that's it, because they need more recruitment. And that's a bad feeling when you are studying here, because you don't feel part of the institution, you don't feel part of something, you don't feel part of the department. And so I think that by just having a meeting once per semester or once per month or whatever, and let them know that they are part of the department and that they want to know their needs, that's a good start. At the end, I'm not looking for a favorite or favoritism in the classroom, because at the end it was my decision to come to the US, right? If I thought at the beginning that English was going to be too tough for me, it was better for me to stay in my country or go to a country, a Spanish-speaking country, right? But it was my decision to come here, so I'm not looking for favoritism, but I'm looking for help, and I'm looking for someone that can understand that I'm struggling with something. I did a lot of sacrifices and I did a lot of stuff to come to the United States, not to ask for favoritism, but if I'm struggling and I'm asking for help, at the end, I'm expecting that that professor, if that professor cares about me, to provide some resources.